Hey, welcome to the Maverick ones. Everyone else has had to leave, so I'm doing it by myself now. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're behind the camera.
Yeah.
We're letting him do his thing.
I'm doing my apparently coming out video right now. It's not that interesting, but it's coming out, so it's a big deal for me. The day I came out as probably a lot of the gay people do this that I've seen videos and or like read. A lot of them come out as bisexual first, as like a lead way to like easier to come out. And I came out in second semester of 8th grade, so I was about 13 years old. I was I told this one chick that like, oh yeah, I'm bisexual, and I specifically told her because I knew she was gonna tell everybody else, because she's that kind of person. And so I told her, and then like I think like 2 days later, everyone's like, Steve, you're bisexual? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. And like, no one really cared. They're like, okay, you're bisexual, whatever, you know. And then in 9th grade, I think it was 2 weeks after 9th grade of my first day of high school, 2 weeks after that, I came out and just said, yeah, I'm gay. Like, I don't really care anymore, like hiding or whatever. And everyone didn't, like, they were like, oh, okay, cool, you know, and that made me feel happy because I was like, I stressed out for no reason of like coming out. And then it was around, I think, 2 weeks before, or maybe like a month before Thanksgiving. I got up, you know, got ready for school, and I went in the car, and I decided to text my sister, my older sister. She's 5 years older than me. I texted her, oh, hey, Priscilla, I'm gay. I texted her, and she's like, what? And she was like half asleep at the time. She barely woke up. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm gay. He's like, you better be shitting me, Steve. Like, are you kidding? And I'm like, no.
Did you tell her first that you were bisexual, or
no? I just told her I was gay.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm gay. And then she's like, is there anything else you want to tell me? And I'm like, I have a boyfriend too. And she's like, oh my God, Stevie. And I'm like, I know. And she's like, and are you gonna tell mom, or have you told her? I was like, no, I haven't told her yet. And then I was like, don't tell her. I specifically told her not to tell my mom. And so, 2 weeks after that, my sister, I think, called me, texted me, and she's like, Stevie, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, I knew what she did. And she's like, I told mom you were gay. And I'm like, oh my God, why would you tell her? Like, she was like kind of pressuring me, like, tell mom, tell her now. Like, I want to tell her when I want to tell her. She's like, what are you going to tell her? I was like, I'll tell her soon, you know. But she ended up telling her, and her story was that they were in the car, and then my mom was like, asked my sister, like, oh, I'm really worried about Stevie, like, does he have a girlfriend or something? And then my sister gave her that look like, no, you don't have to worry about that. And she's like, what? And she's like, nothing. And I'm like, Chila, tell me. And then she like eventually told her, and like, you know, they had this like little crying session, like, oh, my son, you know, like anything. And then for the next week, every time I would pass by my mom, she'd be like, Stevie, do you want to tell me something? And I'm like, no, and I just walk away. And then like, I was laying down in her bed watching TV, and she's like, Stevie, do you want to tell me something? And I'm like, no, and I just ran in my room. And then one day she's like, Stevie, sit down, yeah, like in the living room. And like, she's like, Stevie, sit down. And I'm like, why? She's like, just sit down. And like, I sat down across from her, and she's like, do you want to tell me something? And I'm like, no. And she's like, Stevie, tell me. And I'm like, okay, I'm gay. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And she's like, how do you know? I was like, I just know. Like, how do you know you're straight? And she was like, okay, I guess. And she's like, I just want you to be safe, and I don't want anything bad happening to you, and I still love you, and I still care about you. You know, I still see you the same, and like, nothing's changed. You're still my son. And I'm like, I know, I love you. And like, she hugged me and whatnot, and that was easy. And then she told my stepdad, and my stepdad was like, yeah, I already knew, it was obvious. And then my mom, and that's my grandparents, already knew too. Like, yeah, we knew, like, just kind of obvious as well. And
everyone
so,
but your mom?
Huh?
Everyone but your mom and your sister?
Apparently.
And just didn't want to accept it.
And then 2 weeks after that, it was Thanksgiving, and we go to my aunt's house, and my mom and my sister decided to tell everyone there. I wasn't there, thank God. But they decided to tell everyone there, like my aunt, one of my other grandmas, that I'm gay. And my mom told my sister told my cousin, my older cousin, and she's like, Stevie's gay. He's like, really? And then she's like, yeah, he's gay. He's like, really? And then she's like, yeah. And then he's like, I already know. I'm like, oh my god. And then my sister goes up to me and she's like, do you want me to tell Dad? Because we weren't talking to my dad at the time, and like he wasn't coming to those family gatherings or whatnot. And she's like, do you want me to tell your dad? And I'm like whatever, I guess. And then she ends up calling him, and then she's like, here, Stevie, here's the phone. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to him. And then I end up talking to him, and I tell him that I'm gay, and he's like, I still love you, son. You're still my son, and whatnot. And then I think a little while after, I found out that he thought that my sister was just like messing with him and trying to annoy him, and he thought that I was just kidding that I was gay, but he realized that I was gay, and he was fine with it. And that's basically my coming out story. Not that exciting, but it's something. And that's it. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe, hit that like button, do what you want, share it. But mwah.